What is going on, my friends? Josh and Ashlee here. Welcome to the Josh and Ashlee Show, the only show if you're an entrepreneur family looking to change the world and have this huge impact and make more money and buy hot tubs and jet skis, but also, raise world-changing kids, right, Ashlee? Why are you giving me a weird look over there? That's what it's all about.
I know you always joke and say that, but that's not really what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the world.
Are you saying you don't want a jet ski?
I used to love the jet ski, so I in my old lady years, I would go for a hot tub before a jet ski, just because my body.
Yeah, but jet ski is my, I'm like getting feedback here in the studio super loud. There we go. So jet ski is like my metaphorical placeholder of material thing you want. So are you saying you don't want a material thing? Because you're pretty excited about going to Vegas this week. And technically, what's the difference between being able to take a trip like that versus a jet ski? It's all the same thing.
That is true. We are doing visitation. My husband is speaking at an event in your keynote, aren't you, babe? Aren't you the keynote speaker this weekend?
I'm not sure.
In Vegas, and he's also taking me for the vacation part for Couture Donuts. I follow this lady on Instagram. I don't know how I started following her. Her business has only been around for like 4 years, but she's got like 7 locations. And she has this creme brulee donut, and she like taps it, and creme brulee is my favorite. I'm not even a donut person really, but I'm gonna eat this creme brulee donut.
Someone said your mic's not working. I don't know. Let me check here. See if this is talk.
Talk. Can you hear me? I'm talking. No?
No, it's not working.
Okay, you just take the show.
Well, we'll have you re-explain your excitement for the creme brulee donut in a minute. But we are going to Vegas this weekend, and we'll fix Ashlee's mic. So we're going to talk about a bunch of things on our awesome Josh and Ashlee show. We're going to talk about a new gun law in Texas that helps college students, or maybe some people would argue is super dangerous, but that'll be interesting and controversial. We're going to talk about how millennial parents are raising their children different than all the other generations. Maybe we can talk about the fourth turning too. The fourth turning would be meaning there's generational cycles, and we're possibly in a bad, destructive one right now. We're going to talk about this kid who's mad that she doesn't get the child support money from her dad, right? So the child support goes to the mom to raise the kid, but the kid is mad and wants to sue the mom because she thinks it's supposed to be like personal income to her as a kid, which is insane. And then last week, we got censored. We did the Josh and Ashlee show last Tuesday, and it got deleted immediately for a really weird reason, because we played a little news clip about this really expensive $300 strawberry, which is very interesting. And they deleted the whole thing off Facebook. So I don't know. We're going to discuss that. And then, Will, are we going to fix it? Okay, because this will be way less interesting if it's just me talking the whole time. Let's talk about your service company. So most of the people that are following Ashlee and I have a service business, and that's what we started with. Was, I always joke that everything I have is because I bought a squeegee 20 years ago, and we had a cleaning business, but then we sold it. And for years, people are always asking me, like, if your business is so great, Josh, why would you sell it? And the truth is that a service business isn't the greatest business model in the history of mankind, right? Selling it's awesome, depends on your personality type, what your end goals are, right? But from a business model perspective, I went from a service business into software. It turned out that starting a software company was the hardest thing I ever done in my life. I got like business PTSD from trying to figure out software. But the reason I sold my company is simple. It's because I was trying to upgrade my vehicle. I was going to do a better vehicle, a business that has more leverage. You can make more income, right? I wasn't geographically constricted. So the business ended up being really hard, but that's why I sold it. And the reason I'm talking about this is more and more owners of service companies are recognizing that the service company is like a training wheels business for them. Not for everybody. You could be a lifer, which is awesome because anybody can do whatever they want. But there's lots and lots of young people hitting $1 million or $2 million in the cleaning business, pressure cleaning, carpet cleaning, contracting, all these different services for homeowners. And they're getting there really fast because of education being more accessible, because of different programs and the internet and technology and all this stuff. And then they're selling them and they're getting into other types of businesses. I get messages every few weeks from someone just specifically wanting to launch an app, as an example. It's a constant trickle. But someone has a cleaning business or something, and like, Josh, how do I build an app? What's a wireframe? How do I do this? Where do I find developers? And that's just one example. But then there's also people getting into e-commerce, and they're getting into the information business, which is another one of the things that help people do kind of in the background, is help them learn how to monetize their expertise. Because all of you watching, valuable information, lots of stuff, and that's a whole other type of business. So when you look at your company going into 2023, is this your forever business? Is it like a training wheels business for you? I guess it depends on you, but there are better vehicles. You can become a millionaire and change your life by having a service company. There's no doubt about that. But it's still a difficult business to scale. I actually just made a YouTube video, I think last week or maybe the week before, about like 5 reasons why it's difficult to scale a service business, because you're selling labor, you're arbitraging labor. There's high levels of complexity. There's capital expense. If you want to get bigger, you got to buy a bunch of trucks and hire a bunch of millennials who won't show up for work. And you can definitely do it. It's just difficult. Whereas like an e-commerce business, there's still a big learning curve, but there's a lot of advantages to something like that. And then in the information business, if you had a course or a workshop, or if you were a consultant, or if you built a mastermind group or whatever, we have friends with all kinds of really weird, quirky funnels, online funnels. They sell courses on how to decorate cookies better. And shout out to Preston Anderson, right? And his wife. And there's just all this opportunity. So if you can figure out how to systemize your home service business, you can apply all those skills to all these other vehicles, these other opportunities, which is amazing and will change your life for the rest of your life. Do you just want to come over here?
I'm coming over.
Well, we can't figure it out. Everything's broken, but that's okay. We're going to get back on track. And, well, let me grab my phone. Here we go. Okay. Can you talk?
Yeah, I will tell you this. It was working when we were testing this morning, and so maybe I'm getting censored by Facebook. I see you, Zuckerberg. What? I'm just kidding. I am excited about Vegas. Can I talk about Vegas again?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very excited about Vegas because I get to eat my couture donuts. And
what's the story of that? I don't understand.
I don't know. I just started watching them it was like, I don't know. I just started watching them on Instagram when I got Instagram, and I would just scroll, and she would do this thing where she would on this donut, and then she cracks it up.
What would she do?
She'd click her fingers on it. There's like a name for that, like the sound effects that you see on Instagram Reels. There's like a whole...
The ASMR.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard of that. It's some sort of soothing thing. I don't know if it's good or bad or anything, but I
kind of like them.
The satisfying sounds and different things like that, right?
Yeah. So I love that, and so I heard the word couture donuts, and I watch her make donuts. I watch her make all the things, and so now
she's making money too.
She's got like 7 locations, and she didn't know how to make a donut 4 years ago. So I'm fascinated by her whole business, marketing, all of the things. And I'm going to go eat a couture donut because you're going to take me on your bizcation. We're going doing a bizcation. He's doing business stuff, but also I get to sell. This is the good thing about being an entrepreneur wife.
What?
Bizcation.
We do travel a lot, and that's a benefit to being an entrepreneur. It's also annoying sometimes to have to travel for work stuff.
Oh yeah.
But we try to make it fun and make it a bizcation. So if you're in Vegas, like hit me up. I'd love to say hi while we're there. We're going to be wandering around. All I want to do is make sure I crush it when I speak. I wanted to go to the Caesar's Palace buffet.
Oh, we're buffeting.
Buffeting for sure. That's the best place in the world to get a high ticket, awesome buffet. And then we'll buy a donut for you. And
A donut?
yeah, well, we'll bring some back for our friends. Okay, I want to read the first news article. I'm actually going to read an article, and then we're going to like argue and debate about it, which is going to be amazing. Okay, so here is this article about millennial parents. Millennial parents. Do you know the exact age range of what constitutes a millennial?
I think we fall in that line a little bit.
Yeah, I'm right on the line, but it says millennial parents are saying no to raising the next Jeff Bezos because it's more important for their children to be happy than successful. That's the headline of the article, okay?
I already hate it. I hate it already.
Well, you don't want your children to be happy?
Oh, no, I want them to be happy, but I want people like Jeff Bezos to create things like Amazon. Like without Amazon, where is your life? So you have the luxury of anybody who says they don't want their kid to be Jeff Bezos but is using Amazon is a hypocrite.
I don't know. That's a stretch. That's a stretch because
Come on.
you said, where's your life without Amazon? Everything would be perfectly fine if there's no Amazon. Amazon's nice.
That
is
is true, but we need the innovators and the entrepreneurs to keep on advancing things.
Yeah.
So
I think it's working well. I see it bouncing over here. Is it? I see it when you're doing it.
Do you want me to leave?
So no, let me skim this. It says 81% of millennial parents, their child's contentment is more important than a career. I think it's interesting, the word contentment. Oh my God, I have so many thoughts on this. What do you think about that? Is that so? Most of them are primarily focused with the kids' contentment. Is that our core job as a parent?
What is the word about career too? Career means a different thing too, as well.
Well, I think what they mean is happiness, contentment, peace, which are good things. And like, I want my kids to feel those feelings, right?
Why can't you have both?
But then you have career, and what they're doing is creating what's called a false dichotomy, making it seem like you have to pick either or instead of both, like you said.
Yeah.
You can definitely have both. But I also understand that when you're raised by parents who are psycho, push you career, get into college, get good grades. There's a lot of people that were raised by parents like that. And this always happens with generations, right? Then you like overcorrect. And then you just have like the hippie parents that are like, it's okay, just be free with nature and don't have any stress or pressure. But then that creates a certain type of kid that's not good, right? We want our kids to have adversity and to be pushed somehow. And where's the balance? I don't know. I'm not pretending I know, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. And I'm curious what your thoughts are.
There's like so many ways to go with this. Now, I do want my kids to be happy, but happiness, I don't really want them to have happiness. I want them to have joy.
Okay, what's the difference? That sounds really sexy, but break it down. What's the difference?
Happiness is a feeling. Joy is
a decision.
A decision. Joy is something you get from the Lord. Joy is something that's continual, even when you have hard things. This is kind of like the coffee bean experiment that we're going to talk about. And I think it's really interesting that people like to blame other generations. Your parents did the best they freaking could.
Did they? I'm not talking about mine. I'm saying in general. My mom's watching this. She's like, what?
Yes, because what happens is they try to overcorrect.
Not every parent does the best they could.
Not every parent does the best they could. But if you like love your kids and you're like trying to do it, like do the things, like this seems like a very first world problem. Don't you think?
I think so.
Because like when you're starving,
it's a luxury to be able to be like, it's okay, just go do finger painting, Billy, for the next 15 years. Like, don't worry about having skill sets and making money and being a producer. Like, that doesn't matter. And that's not like what they're saying, but they're sort of saying it.
They're saying it without saying it.
Let me read more of it, and you can think about that. It says previously undervalued occupations such as supermarket workers and waste operatives gained massive exposure and respect, forcing the world to recognize their invaluable contribution to society and reevaluate their views on education, career, and the importance of happiness and health, the report says.
Okay, I do think we need to reevaluate some things. So I'm okay for the reevaluation. I just thinking putting blame and just really overcorrecting is very dangerous. But yeah, like supermarket jobs, they're already going out the door. Right?
Yeah.
Like I just did the self-checkout. Be with me, Jesus, everybody. Okay. Like I am somebody who trains my kids to be a relentless leader and to like learn things in the environment. But the self-checkout gets you right with Jesus. Let me just tell you with the 5 kids. Ching, 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 ching. Sorry.
AI, automation, technology, but that's a different topic than what we're talking about. The whole point of what
But
I
I'm
just
saying-
read was that simpler labor jobs are getting more status and they're getting more honor than
Oh, you're
maybe
saying
previous
that.
generation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have blinked out and stopped listening to you because I thought you were
No.
saying they're getting deleted and then.
No, they're not getting deleted. Parents are like, it's okay, just be, a garbage man, which shout out to Myron Golden. He was a trash man, from trash man to the cash man. There's honor in all work, right? But I think the real thing that's being said here is don't push your kids. Don't push them, just coddle them, cater to them, which I think is child abuse personally. But let me read the rest of this. It says, 87% of millennial parents surveyed parenting is their most important job, and they're taking the role as seriously as, and then sometimes instead of, their next big career move. That's great. I agree with that. According to the report, millennial parents are professionally parenting like no other generation before them. I'm skeptical of that,
Wait,
but that's
wait,
what it
wait,
says.
whoa.
I didn't get to the punchline yet.
Okay, sorry.
Parents today are planning their careers around having children to create their ideal nest, including waiting until they're financially stable. So this is a part of the article I thought was juicy. It says over a third of millennial parents actively planned and researched when would be the best time to have children, often waiting until they were financially stable, hit their career goals, and were married. What are your thoughts on that?
If you're waiting for a good time, there's never a good time to have children. I actually, oh man, there's just so
You gotta
much.
talk into the thing.
There's so much beauty in starting young and figuring it out and growing old together. So I'm biased because I love the way that it worked out for us. And so waiting to have children until you're financially stable, what number is that? That number will always change, especially with inflation and different things, so that you'll never be financially stable unless you're really, I mean, maybe you crush it. Maybe you buy some NFTs, get some financially stable, but that word financially stable is very vague.
Well, I think this is another modern luxury of society where we even have the ability to have a conversation like this. Having children used to be more about survival than it is now. Kids are viewed as an inconvenience in the world today, which is evil and terrible and stupid and upside down, but it's true. People view it that way because they want to travel and party and have their little laptop lifestyle with their tiny home and go on the beach. And it's just things are weird at culture, but you got to understand, the only reason people are able to even consider options like this is because of the decadence that we live in as a society, the excessive luxury that we have. It worries me because if you know the famous quote that I don't know who coined it, but strong men create good times and good times create weak men, and weak men create bad times, and bad times create strong men. And it's a loop, right? And there's a book behind me called The Fourth Turning. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, look for it.
We talked about this last week, I think.
I actually think it's actually dangerous to tell your kids to go get a bare minimum job, to not strive for things. I think that's bad for them. I'm not a psychologist, but I can't imagine saying, hey, just do bare minimum and just be happy. Does that actually make you happy and fulfilled if you're just doing the bare minimum? Because I've had a few jobs like that make you want to gouge your eyeballs out. Remember when I worked at Hollywood Video and I would scan things in my sleep because it was such a monotonous, horrible job.
Yeah, but I love that we got married young, and yes, we're biased because, but our story is not the only way to do anything, of course. But growing up together and trauma bonding is important. It's also good, I think, to have kids younger for a variety of reasons. And I think there's something off about thinking you can plan every single thing out. And I'm going to be 32 and have a $1.2 million net worth. And if it works out, good. But to me, that type of thinking is it's less awesome. It's less joy filled. It's less adventurous than it could be. But I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion. I don't think you're bad if you do that. But I want everyone to buy this book because it'll break your brain. It's called The Fourth Turning. Okay, can you see that? William Strauss and Neil Howe, The Fourth Turning. What cycles of history tell us about America's next rendezvous with destiny? This book's a legendary book if you haven't heard of it. Check it out.
Why don't we ask Maverick and Will in the booth now that they're not running around trying to get my mic on? And I'm going to go over back to my mic. So Maverick, what do you think about being happy versus being Bezos? basically.
It actually, there's something really good in the Bible that says, well, before I get to that,
Is it ready?
isn't the point of being successful like being happy? If you're not successful, how can you be happy? Because successful means you've done what your purpose is and you've done what you're made for. And if you haven't done that, like, how could you be happy? It's not like true happiness. Because like you can tell people when they're doing their purpose, they're just so, the Gordon Irwin effect, they're so obsessed with that one thing and it just gets them all riled up. Because you know, if there's that one thing that makes you so happy that you're just driving and striving for. If you're not doing that and you're doing something different that like makes you happy, you're not actually doing what you're made for and you're not actually happy. You know, it's kind of like a fake, like, oh, go play with crayons and don't actually put in the hard work to achieve something that you're going to be proud of.
Yeah, I think it could be like, is there a difference between being happy and doing work? Because there should be joy in the work itself. Like work isn't a bad thing. I feel like the culture is just adverse to working. We just don't want to work at all. But I think humans were designed to work, produce, create, and share whatever creative gift they have with the world. Like that's the highest form of being a person, right? If we're made in God's image, and the first thing we learn about God is that he's a creator God, and we're made in his image, that means we are creators, we're creative. Nobody has all of the creative juice. We need each other. Like humans are interdependent. So where I get concerned with articles like this is if people are seeking decadence and pleasure rather than contribution and work. So if you think it makes you happy to just like sit around and do drugs and be lazy and whatever, it might temporarily, but it's a horrible recipe for absolute doom for your mental health. You need to be a producer. You need to be proud of the things you're contributing to the world. So if my definition of happiness just might be different than the people that wrote the article, maybe we're talking in circles a little bit. Is your microphone working, Ashlee?
It is working. It's a little hot in here, but if I was patched in saying I'm hot, I'm sorry, because I wasn't meaning personally not hot. I thought my microphone was hot, but I think it's good. Am I good? Am I coming through?
I'm gonna check. Keep
Can you
talking.
hear me loud and clear, everybody? You know, I think this is like so fascinating because there's so many angles to it, but I was talking to my friend Colette yesterday. Her daughter has a birthday on the same day as my son's birthday. Today's son Sawyer's birthday. Sawyer turned 13 today, everybody. Give it up for Sawyer. And tomorrow Maverick turns 16. So happy birthday to Maverick in the booth tomorrow. But we were talking about how as a mom, it's weird to have your kids grow up. It's exhilarating and thrilling that your kids are going to go off and change the world and do big things. That's how we're raising our kids in our home, is to go out and do big things. That's why I let them do the self-checkout. That's why I'm trying to train them to go do big things. I don't necessarily want them to be Bezos, and who knows if Bezos is even happy. I do want my kids to have joy and contentment, but I also want them to go and do hard things and change the world. And I was telling her, it is so hard, this emotion of getting so excited for the life that they're going to build and create and being so happy for the things that they're going to do, but also being sad that they're not cute, little, and cuddly. And they're not going to say, hey, mommy, can I have some snacks or whatever? There's this part of your mommy heart that grieves, but I think you have to let the epicness outweigh that little part of you that misses the past. And so I want my kids to go change the world. So they might be the only kids on the planet that are going to be working hard and doing things. But I want them to change the world. And so I want them to be creators, because I do think there is joy in the journey. And I think these people that are running the cashier, to just be happy, I think that seems like it could really blow up in your face, because happiness changes.
Happiness can be good, but it depends on your definition of happiness. If what you mean by happiness is serve yourself and seek pleasure all the time, then that's not even happiness. That's just selfishness. But if your definition of happiness means reaching your potential or having satisfaction with your contribution to the people and world around you, that's awesome. It doesn't matter what job you have. You just want to raise good kids. But okay, we're going to move on.
Love it.
We're going to move on. We talked way too long while we're fixing text issues about that, but it's interesting. So here's the next thing. There's a kid who wants to sue her mom because her mom kept all the child support growing up instead of giving it to the kid, which is absolutely insane. But this is kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about a little bit, because for a kid to even think a thought in their brain that the child support that their divorced parents, that the dad is paying to the mom to raise the kid thinks that that's like her money, that she's entitled to that money. It
But were
breaks
her-
my brain.
Okay, I got the rebuttal to this. Were her needs taken care of? That's what I need to know about this article, because this article leaves out a lot of things. Like, was mom just like blowing it on Gucci and fancy purses, or was she taking care of her kid? I mean, I could see both sides of this. This is a weird, touchy thing. I
don't think it's
understand where
weird.
what?
I don't think it matters if she blows it on Gucci purses in terms of should the kid have it or not. Like, she could spend it all on drugs. It's still not the kids. It goes
What?
to the mom.
No.
I didn't say she should do that, but what I'm saying is there is no room in this conversation for that kid to have a thought, opinion, or on any of this. Like, it almost makes me more upset that it's a news article, that people are actually talking about it, because they're like pretending like it's possibly valid. Like, I don't know, let's talk. There's nothing to talk about. What are you talking about? Hopefully the mom spends it on raising the kid, right? But it's the mom's money. And then this opens up the other conversation of, how unfair the family court system is to men in general, and child support. And I don't know. So should there be restrictions on what mom spends it on? Is there even a chance, Maverick and Will, I'm curious your thought, is there even a world, don't just try to agree with me, but in what world would the kid be entitled to just get money because they exist from dad and circumvent the mom getting it? What do you think?
I mean, I see definitely both sides, but I mean, I don't know. I would lean towards more like it does go to the needs of the kid. I would say that that's like one of the main reasons for like the child support money is to support the child. So I mean, that's where I would lean, but I could see it both ways.
You can see it both ways. So like,
Yes.
there's a chance the young kid should just get money for what? They can't even take care of themselves yet. That's why they have parents and they're 14, they live at home.
You are opening up a whole can of worms. So if we're going to blow this can of worms open, yeah, there's a lot of people who blow it on things and then the kids aren't provided for. And
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the kid is
it's not
supposed
the
to get
kid's-
the money.
what is she getting the money for? We don't know what she's getting the money for. Maybe she's getting it to eat
What?
food. I mean, we
No,
don't
no, no,
know.
no.
Did she say that she wants the money to go blow on herself, or she needs new underwear? Like, we do not know. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're saying like if it's
If
like
the mom's not raising her right, then she should live with the dad. But in
But
no
we're
world
talking
should
about-
the kid just get the money and be like, "Good job, go take care of yourself and buy your own food and underwear." What do
yeah, but you just oh, I found a hole in your argument. The court system, we've already said, is redonkulous, and we know this from personal friends. Like, dealing with the courts sometimes is a stinking nightmare, and people can't get what they need. Maybe this is the means that this little girl. I'm just going on team little girl. Maybe she is a total.
She's an entitled diva, delusional.
We do not
rotten
know
little
that.
kid.
We do not know that. You're reading in between the lines. We do not know that. She might be just trying to make a scene so she can go live with dad, so she can get her rights back. Maybe she's hungry. Maybe she's hungry. She don't have no clean
It's
underwear.
such an altruistic way to view it, but that's not what the article I read was written like at all. It
Yeah,
was a spoiled, whiny teenage girl that was mad that she didn't get to spend the child support money on whatever she wanted and run around and go to the mall with her friends. That's what the article was about. Okay.
Okay.
So you're playing to emote. It's called an appeal to emotion, which is a logical fallacy, actually, saying, but she's just starving. And it's like, well, no, first of all, no, that's not this article. That's possible, but that doesn't mean we should have a rule where kids get the money. They don't know what to do with the money, how to spend the money, how to take care of themselves. Like, this can't be a conversation.
Although I will tell you, okay, so let's go on the other side of the extremes. Then give her the money and give her nothing else and let her figure it out. How old was this woman? Was she like 16? Like, then that's when I think sometimes we protect our kids from learning real world problems. Now, maybe that might be a little extreme, but like,
Tommy Gravel said she may have ran out of Roblox cash. Exactly.
but
That's
she'll
what's
be
really
finding out when
happening.
she doesn't have clean underwear and she's hungry. Like, I would also blame this
Why
on the
does your head
parent.
still go there? That's not what this is about. Why are you pretending like
Because
she's
if
starving?
she's suing somebody, she either has to be of age where she can start taking care of herself, or she's getting fed by another parent. I've got a lot of like a 8-year-old is just not going to go sue her parents. She doesn't know how to
Well, this
freaking do
girl
that.
didn't do it, but she was saying that she wanted to do it, that she's been screwed over because all this money, all these years is really her money, which is a whole other thing. Like, oh, there's so much stuff. It is a can of worms, right? Like, how much should the father even pay? And I don't even know. It's a mess. How about this? Don't get divorced, stay married, fight through it, make good choices. Don't get knocked up when you're 21 and sleep around and be stupid idiots and create humans that you can't raise correctly. Don't do that. And then less of this stuff will happen. That's my thought on that.
Oh, okay. I just opened up this can of worms. Now I'm just going to go open up 25 more cans of worms. There you go,
What
everybody.
did I just say that's
Can of
not
worms.
true and useful? What
was just-
about that was not true, useful, and helpful? Because kids, like the average age a kid is exposed to pornography is like 8 to 10 years old right now. Their brain gets fried before they're even out of the house. They're sleeping around doing idiotic things, not to mention drugs, which, by the way, cocaine is becoming legal in a part of Canada, which is one of the articles we're going to talk about. It's like, that's interesting. But these kids are all messed up. And then it's just self-replicating negative organism of broken homes, pain, stress, anxiety. Like 50% of teenage girls right now have contemplated, they say that they struggle severely with feeling depressed. And like 26% of them have thought about suicide, which is insane. And just like 10 years ago, those numbers were less than half that. And so it's a self-replicating negative organism. It comes down to all kinds of things, but personal responsibility. And when I look at a situation like this child support story, the mistakes were made like years before. Like the girl to have the thought already is parented incorrectly. Like her parents failed if she's having this thought. They failed. Okay. And so like you can't fix it. All I'm saying is you can't make a law or actually let the dad have to pay money to his spoiled kid instead of to the mom raising and taking care of the kid, at least theoretically. That's just idiotic. The whole conversation's idiotic. We need families. We need the nuclear family. We need responsibility. We need to do hard things. We need to not just pursue happiness and pleasure and decadence at every turn. There's honor in laying down your life for your family. I believe men were built to die for something, to trade their life and happily die for something greater than themselves. And these sound like ancient, old-fashioned things. Maybe they are, but that's my opinion. That's how it should be. That's the correct way. But everybody's seeking pleasure, just like the freaking millennial parents that are like, no, I just want Billy to finger paint. It's like, no, Billy can't just freaking finger paint. He needs to know how to do valuable stuff for himself and for the people around him. That's what I think. Tell me where I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I think sometimes like I look around, I'm like, are we living in the Hunger Games? Like when you look at the Capitol and like all the things, that's when you just turn on the news and you look at our government, you're like, is this the Capitol? But I do think there has to be, it starts in our homes. It starts in our homes. Change starts in our homes. So that's all I got to say. But
Maverick Will, pipe in. We were going at it. What are you thinking back there? What are you thinking about?
I think people are just like devoid of purpose. And so when you don't have a goal in mind, you kind of just like spend your time with like filler, like things that don't matter. And I think we just need people to uncover and discover other people's purposes. Cause like, if you know what you're supposed to do and you're like striving towards that, like achieving that, you're looking around seeing all these other people and you're like, these people have no purpose. They're literally going to like drift through life and then die. And it's like not even their fault. Nobody's ever told them otherwise, that they have a mandate, a purpose, and a destiny, like you always say. And so I think we need more people to go help and just tell people that they are needed, that they have a purpose and a destiny, so that way they can actually have a goal to work towards.
So good.
man,
How are you my kid? How did that happen? That was very good. I agree. Robin Murphy on Facebook said she has a 16-year-old girl, and these are tough times for girls that age. Totally agree.
Agree.
It's just a tough time for kids in general, you know.
No,
That-
I would have to admit that it would be a tougher time to be a girl. I'm going to fight you on this battle. Because in the
Why?
world of filters and like back in when I went to school, bullies didn't at least go home with you. They stayed at school. Now bullies can bully you 24 hours a day. A lot about image and different things. It is I mean, it's tough to be a girl, teenager, especially with all the other weird things that are attacking you, and then boys coming into your sports. Like boys don't have a problem with girls coming into their sports, but like there are a lot of things that are attacking femininity
like
and
when Bruce Jenner
womanhood.
won Woman of the Year.
What?
When Bruce Jenner won Woman of the Year.
Yeah, but I agree. It's
Clown world.
really hard to go home and have social media and just all of the different filters and different things and trying to feel like you're adored. Like OnlyFans and porn industry has really devalued women in so many ways.
I think all that's true. It's pointless to be like, oh, it's harder for a boy than a girl or a girl from a boy. It's just harder. But everything's messed up, man. Testosterone values are at all-time lows. It has to do with food, but also just the sedentary lifestyle and lots of things. And I think Maverick's right. You know, we shouldn't get mad at the kids. The kids are the natural byproduct of their parents. But then how do we get mad at the parents? And what does it serve to get mad at anybody? We need to just change it from here forward. You know, the quote says, when's the best time to plant a tree? 100 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today, right now, right? So we got to do that. And then Tommy said, your purpose inspires others. Which is true. So go live your purpose. And I'm sure you all are that are watching this. Let's go to the next story. That was very interesting. So we can talk about cocaine in Canada, or we can talk about $30 gum, which is a cool marketing story about Neptune gum. You want to talk about the gum?
Yes, I want to talk about the gum.
My wife was telling me that she bought $30 gum. And I was like, that's insane. Why did you do that? And she said, I did. The internet did it. I got sucked down a rabbit hole. She clicked an ad, clicked a thing, watched this mini documentary that was geniusly produced where they show these people in the Grecian islands scraping this special type of tree and then waiting. And then this resin leaks out of the tree. And then they harvest the resin and there's a process. And there's these little old Greek ladies separating the resin into little chunks. And then there's this story. It's called mastic gum, and how it helps develop your jawline and how it's a natural reusable gum that you can save it. And it just goes on and on with the storytelling and in the social proof. The scientific and health claims on their website were really funny to me, and they could be true. I don't know, but it was like marketing genius. And this stuff's expensive, so it's $30 gum. The gum's not that great, in our opinion, by the way. It was interesting. We were chewing on it like, it gives you a workout on your gut. I actually believe the jawline claim after using it. But I thought it was cool as an example for you with your business to just like, if you go to Neptune Gum's website, and yes, you're not in the gum business, but business is business. And you're in the storytelling value, perceived value creating business, right? The believability, the claims that you have, the social proof, the way you structure your message and your copy and your story in an attempt to decommoditize yourself from all the other service companies around you. It's like a masterclass in that. I thought it was really, if you go to their website and click on learn more, you'll see this little documentary. And last thing I'll say, and you can tell me about Neptune Gum, is when you spend 15, 20 minutes on a website, the likelihood of you purchasing exponentially increases. Because it's like this sunk cost fallacy where you feel like you've invested all this time, you might as well get the gum. You don't want to be on a website browsing for that long and leave empty-handed, right? And so it was just so well done. The gum sucks, but the marketing was unbelievable. What are your thoughts about that?
My thoughts is there's probably people at home saying, oh, my customers, they're just cheap, this and that. They'd never pay this much for my services. Well, just to put this in perspective, before I bought the $30 gum, the most expensive gum I've ever bought was like $5. I'm like a cheap $2 Orbit gum kind of lady. Okay. Like I am a cheap gum person, but I invested so much time. And yes, the gum doesn't even taste that great. It does sculpt your jaw, but, and you have
like
to
pine needles kind of.
It tastes like pine needles. Yes. but I'm not sad about it. I'm actually still happy about my $30 gum, actually. And I'm like, bravo. So maybe you're saying to yourself that your customer would never pay 6 times the price, but that's basically what I did is I paid 6 times the price for gum. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm normally like I'm not even a $5 gum person, really. I'm like a $2.
Well, Warren Buffett, I think Warren Buffett says there's no competitive advantage to being the second most expensive. Right. So in your market, in anybody's market, if there's the $5 guy, the $4 guy, and the $3 guy, the $4 guy is like worse off than anything, right? The most expensive has a place in the market, and there's psychology helping that guy because he's a premium most expensive. There's also psychology helping the bargain basement discount guy. I mean, huge retailers like Walmart are the reason it exists is because of their low prices. They operate with like a 1% profit margin. I don't know if people know that, but they do hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. They're walking on a 1% razor's edge, actually. But anyway, there's no competitive advantage of being the second most expensive. But if you were going to enter the market with the $3, the $4, and the $5 guy, what's really interesting is what if you were the $9 guy? Because that's how you want to do it. That would be a smart way to position it. Not only would your business economics be different, in a way, it's easier to sell your stuff. Yes, tons of people are like, heck no, that's stupid. I would never do that. But there's this group of people that want to buy the most expensive thing just because it's the most expensive thing. And they don't have to be rich people. I think last week we talked about Bernard Arnault, who's the new richest man in the world. He's the chairman of, Louis, like this, I forget the name of his company, but they own Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's and Hennessy and all these things. And I think I said, they're selling to the top 1% of people. But after I thought about that, I don't think they are. They're selling to people that want to be perceived as the top 1% of people. Right?
Yeah.
So when you're the $30 gum thing, like what's happening in their brain is, and let me ask you this, do you think people that buy $30 gum can keep their mouth shut about it? Do you think they don't tell their friends and their friends at work that they bought $30 gum? I would argue that they probably talk 10 times more about it than the person that buys Orbit gum, right? Because the status they get from like, yeah, I just got this gum. It was $30, but you know what? Mastic gum, it's better for your gut health. Yeah, it's a gut health, my jaw. Yeah, so this is just my mastic gum. There's all this psychology happening. And that's true with like window cleaning or your carpet package or anything. It's still true. So
that's like
cool.
When I was a kid, I remember when I was like, oh, rich people eat Grey Poupon. Do you remember when they would drive up and would drive up in the limo and they put the thing and be like, it's Grey Poupon. And I was like, oh my gosh, you have to be rich. Grey Poupon is mustard. It's literally
it's
mustard.
Not expensive, is
and
it?
You hate mustard. I don't think it's expensive. I have never bought Grey Poupon because I'm not really a mustard person. Like I'll eat mustard, but oh, Jason in the audience is telling me it's good. So I guess I'm gonna have to test out some Grey Poupon. But like, it's all about perception of status and different things.
Yep, it's interesting. So check out Neptune Gum. Next article is about cocaine in Canada. I think I didn't save that article. Dang it! But there's like a marijuana distributor, I guess, in British Columbia. Apparently, I need to fact check this, but this was in my news app with the thing. I read the whole thing earlier, and they got permission to sell cocaine. There's only a certain amount they can get, but they can import it and like manufacture it. And they said they want to distribute the, clean and healthy cocaine. They literally said clean and healthy cocaine. So I didn't know that there's such thing as healthy cocaine. Never done cocaine. What are your thoughts on that? And then really drugs in general, should the government be enforcing drugs to be illegal? A huge percentage of the people locked up in federal prison are there because they were smoking weed in 1998 or something. They had too much of it, which is insane. What do you think about that?
I think this is all crazy, to be honest. But
what does that mean? What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm not a drug person. We already know this.
Yeah, but should it be illegal? Should it be legal? Should people be able to go to a store and just buy some cocaine? Like think of Coke and Pepsi and these brands. Are there going to be brands of hard drugs like that? Is that fine? like a libertarian point of view would be like, well, yeah, like the government needs to like get out of my way. I am an autonomous, independent, sovereign individual.
Yeah.
Let me buy the thing I want. 'Cause
There's
people buy it
no
anyway.
way that the government is not involved in it in some way. They're getting kickbacks in some way. So I'm going to be very clear.
Well,
There's
that's
the
what
government
argument
weasels their
is.
way
The-
in.
The
and
argument is that the drug wars are just complete bullcrap. Because first of all, they're not doing anything to stop illegal drugs. Like it's everywhere.
no, I think
But
they're
they make money off of it.
I do
Right?
have actually something to say here. Looking at their government website, British Columbia, and it
Mm-hmm.
looks like on top of them doing that, they're also going to be dropping or lowering the charges for opioids, cocaine, meth, and ecstasy. And if you are 18 years or older, you're not going to be arrested or charged for possessing small amounts
Mhm.
of any of those.
Do you agree? Is that a good idea? What do you think?
I mean, no, I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think that opens like honestly a can of worms because I think this is like just the beginning. I think that's just like there's no way this is like the end of those kind of decisions.
I guess the bad part is when it's legal, it ends the stigma associated with it. So imagine there's a kid, he's a good kind of a normal kid, he's a B student, you know, doing his thing. And he when it's illegal and you go to prison for, you know, being a meth head, it's probably not going to become a meth head. But when it's just a legal thing, the stigma of it's reduced. And so it seems like it'd be much more likely for kids to try this stuff, which could destroy their entire world. And otherwise it wouldn't have been. Right?
This does bring me to the fact that when we were in high school, we had this friend from Belgium. His name was Laurent. And I remember Laurent saying that he didn't understand why American kids would try to go to parties and drink alcohol and beer and stuff, and why it was like such a sexy, famous thing. Like, why do you guys want to do that? It's just disgusting. Like he just viewed beer. Beer was always in his fridge and you could just drink it at any age that you wanted to. And so they made it a little bit sexier. And I would say they destigmatized marijuana in the past definitely with CBD and different things. And so I don't think marijuana is a big of a deal or as sought after. Maybe it's not, because maybe I'm wrong because I'm not, you know.
No, but do you think more
but
people
vapes-
would smoke weed because it's legal than when it was illegal? Does it make you want it more because it's the naughty illegal thing, or does it make you want it more to try it out because it's legal? I don't have the answers to any of this, but cocaine seems orders of magnitude more dangerous than weed. People can't overdose on marijuana unless it's laced with something. I'm not a marijuana person, but nothing bad happens like from it, except I guess you eat Cheetos. You shouldn't drive cars and stuff. But
And clean fish
cocaine, really? People's like hearts explode and stuff, and it's like a really bad.
I did just see this lady that was talking about the different things that she thought were going to happen in her life. And she thought, since she went through the DARE program, that people in top hats were going to just like be like secretly trying to like prowl on her to give her drugs and to like sneak drugs and give her drugs for
What?
free.
What are
Like when you
talking
went to the
about?
DARE program, like they just
Oh,
acted like
yeah.
they were hunting you down. Like the drugs
Oh
are just
yeah, they
coming for
scared
you.
you.
They scared you, but then people still did drugs. So
They used to have like these commercials. we should have found that before the show, but like where your eggs getting fried and basically like your whole life's gonna fall apart if you like smoke marijuana or something. And it was like exaggerated, you know. But I understand like the effort. Like drugs are not good. They're not helpful. Okay. It's a form of sedation and escapism. That's like what it is. So I don't think it's wrong for people to, you know, watch the game and have some beers and stuff, but people that struggle with these things, they're just trying to escape because life is painful. That's literally what's happening, and they want to escape.
can
On
I
the
just
one hand, criminalizing people for wanting to escape like doesn't help anything.
nope.
It costs tons of money. A lot of these people with drug charges are totally great normal people. This is, you know, they struggle with a thing, but they're not out there murdering people. I don't know. I'm utterly confused on this issue. I'm curious what the audience thinks, what you guys think. What are the arguments to and fro? Because on the one hand, I like libertarian government, get out of my way, let it be legal. Because I know my kids, like we educate and are going to raise our kids to give them the best chance to make intelligent decisions for themselves. But it doesn't need to be illegal on the one hand. But on the other hand, is it a slippery slope? I don't know. I think Will thinks it's a slippery slope.
I think I just have something to add is that I did see something about how they're like, there's this weird drug going around and it makes people kind of look like a zombie. I don't have enough information because they're lacing something with something and it's making them do really weird things. And it's really,
What?
drugs are killing a lot of people. That's just, but I would say just because it's legal, we know that a lot of these things are coming. Oh man, we're going to get censored again. Here we go. A lot of these things are coming from the pharmaceuticals and the doctors. They're just writing pills like nobody's business and they're
A
handing
lot
them
of
out.
these things are coming from
Drugs
a lot
like
of what?
fentanyl, opioids, like
Yeah,
people are getting
designer
hooked.
drugs.
People are things getting hooked on these drugs and then they will randomly cut them off.
But they're just, well,
You're
hold on a
saying-
second. You're muddying everything together. Are you talking about someone, you can't just go to a doctor and get it. If you get addicted to painkillers, fair enough. Like some people just get really addicted to like Vicodin and stuff. And that sucks and that's hard. That's not the same thing as someone just wanting to test out some meth and go party with their friends. The question is, should it be legal for people to go do whatever they want and put in their body? It's their body. Why can't they choose what goes in their body?
You don't think that doctors have created some of these things? Like they've been
That's
giving
not
pills.
what we're talking about. We're not
Okay,
talking about who
okay.
created things. Yes, there's designer drugs, there's fentanyl. Yeah, but I don't see what that has to do with what we're talking about at all. I'm confused.
I think a lot of
what
these
does that
people
have to do
are
with anything?
I think a lot of these people are just in pain and a lot of doctors cut them off. They get them addicted, they cut them off and then they have to go find their own things. And they were also talking about shrooms in there and that's like the new hot thing. I think shrooms are
Psilocybin.
actually more dangerous because Joe Rogan's out there microdosing and doing dangerous things. I think that's actually more risky to be not more riskier than doing cocaine or anything like that.
No,
But
I don't think that. I don't know a lot about that. I wouldn't do it because I think it like is a doorway to demonic influence. Yeah, DM me. Let's talk about it. Like spiritually, I'm not doing that. I'm not opening my third eye. Y'all can get away from that. Hey, Will texted me and said that we have the egg ad. Go ahead and play that. Is there sound?
yeah,
I couldn't hear it. Could you hear the
this
sound?
is your brain.
I don't know if it worked.
This is your
We're gonna
brain
fix
on
our tech
drugs.
stuff later.
I think we just couldn't hear it in here. This is
Okay,
your brain.
Will Maverick, closing thoughts on cocaine in Canada, drugs in general. Should it be legal? What do you think?
I think because there's two types of issues. I think you talk about an information issue and then something else, but like behavior issue. And it's like working out. There's no information issue there. Everybody knows how to get fit. You move more and you eat less. But the thing is with drugs is it's not an information issue. It's a behavior issue. And everyone knows that if you do drugs, there's a chance that you could get hooked and then it destroys your life. Nobody's just thinking, oh, what's this little thing that I do? Like everybody knows what they're doing when they get into this stuff. It's not an information issue. So I think so they know the risks. That's what I'm saying. So if you make it legal, the people who are already enticed and already are like, okay, I'm already going to go for this risk. They're going to do it. And then they're going to go their whole life doing that or whatnot. If I'm making any sense. They already know the risk. And so if we make it legal, they're going to do it anyways. But the thing is, if it's illegal, they're going to figure out a way to do it anyways. So
you think if it's legal, people that have already decided I'm not doing drugs, they're just still not gonna, so there's no harm done. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay. Will, what about you?
Yeah, I would say like, I mean, it takes away like the feeling of doing something that's illegal, but I still think like the people that don't want to do it, I completely agree. It's still like there's the like negative health effects to it, and that doesn't really change it just making it legal. It's still bad for you, the same way the alcohol. So that's how I
Can
see
you
it.
imagine like a guy like Mr. Beast like endorsing like some new cocaine brand 20 years from now or 10 years from now on the internet though? I mean, because if it's legal, that means you can market it. If you can market it, you can really do some crazy stuff. And one of the things Ashlee and I wanted to talk about was Mr. Beast, because Forbes estimates that he's worth $500 million. I've heard other people say closer to $1 billion, but it's like a ton. He's only 24 years old, hundreds of millions of like followers, kids look up to him. He's launching companies like this, like Sawyer, whose birthday is today, our third oldest son. He bought a bunch of chocolate bars. What are the chocolate bars called? They're peanut butter.
D's nuts.
They're called D's nuts.
D's nuts.
Oh my gosh. So they're pretty good. I had some, but he spent a bunch of his own money on this chocolate bar. And it's just interesting, like the power of having an audience and building a tribe. And then the way that he monetizes all that, it's insane. But imagine someone like him being like, oh, for the cleanest, purest cocaine experience, use the something something brand. Then we're way over going off the cliff, right? Right? Will, what do you think?
Well, yeah, Maverick and I, we were actually just talking about it. On top of like his doing his like chocolate bars, he also did like a promotion where it was like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and he had golden tickets inside of all of the Feastable like bars, and they got a chance. I haven't seen the video, but from what I understand, it was just like the movie. They got to come out, and he had a whole set built out, and it was a whole like massive video of the Chocolate Factory.
Did you see how much hate he got for helping 1,000 people get blind, like get cured from blindness? Did you see that? People were mad at him for that. For that, he paid to give surgery. I read it was a $7,000 surgery. It's $3,500 per eye, is what I read. Anyway, he paid for 1,000 people to have that. You know, it removes cataracts and they can see. And then people were like, "That's exploitative." You know, you're profiting off of the misery of others, and then or of your goodwill. You're profiting off of your goodwill and all this stuff. I'm curious all your thoughts on that.
What? They're saying they profited off of the goodwill, like he's healing blind people, and people get offended by everything nowadays. This is the truth of the matter is people are getting famous by getting offended, and it's just a little crazy. My friend Holly Homer is the one that said that. She's like, people are getting famous for being offended, and I was like, yes, but that is crazy to me that you would be offended that somebody helped heal the blind. Who cares if they make a lot of money off of this? Mr. Beast is going to make a lot of money no matter if he heals the blind or not. Why not start healing the blind? Let's cure cancer, because come on, Mr. Beast. Like this, these are why you want your kids to be like Bezos, not because Bezos is doing things like that, but like entrepreneurs and people like Mr. Beast, marketing geniuses. This is not the first time we bought candy bars either, by the way. One time he gave $5 inside the candy bar, and it said, make someone else's day, give this $5 away or something like that. And so Matt Sawyer gave away the $5, but people like Mr. Beast are going to change the world. That's what's going to happen.
It's happening before your eyes.
He's changing the world, and people who are valuable to society, they get paid for what they do. He is a producer. Mr. Beast is a producer, and he's going to profit off of that. And I have to say, he has my attention. He has everybody's attention, and that's why he's making a lot of money, is because he's a producer, not a consumer.
Yeah. Maverick, thoughts?
I just think that if none of those people were like forced, like he didn't drag people and be like, you can't see good, get in this chair, we're going to heal you so I can make tons of money. No, they were like, wait, I can get healed? Who cares if you make money off that? It benefits me. That's like the nicest thing ever. So to you, like sitting in your chair with Hot Pockets everywhere, and you're writing YouTube comments and YouTube videos saying, he's making money off of this from helping people who can't see. It's like, what? Like, is there any like bad that comes out of that? Because like, is making money bad then? Like, if that's what they're saying,
that's what they think, because they're jealous. It's rooted absolutely in envy, greed, and jealousy, in my opinion. That's 100% what's happening. You can't even eating their Hot Pocket. He's making money fixing eyeballs, right? Like these people are just, they're just useless eaters.
And then the whole time they're juicing the algorithm for Mr. Beast, making him money every time they do a negative comment.
That's the real irony.
That is the irony, is that they're making him money by doing that. And I would say one of the most fascinating things that I think about Mr. Beast is Mr. Beast says, how can I? And I think that's really important for your business, is how can I? Like, he figures out how he can do different things, and he doesn't feel like he's a victim. He feels like he is resourceful, like with the ghost kitchens of how you can get a Beast burger, but it's made he doesn't own a restaurant. He doesn't have employees, but you can get a Beast burger at different locations. And I think that's really important for us as marketers and business owners, of how to be resourceful, and how to get people's attention. I think Mr. Beast is a great example of how to get attention and be resourceful.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Hey, this was a little weird, technologically bumpy show, but we're having fun here, and we appreciate you being here too. So do you want to close us out in prayer, Ash?
Yes, we'll save the coffee bean experiment for the next week, because that was fascinating. But I will definitely pray us out. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for dying on the cross, Lord. We love you and worship you and honor you and praise you. God, we talked about a lot of hot issues today. And we know that you have the answer to all of these issues, Lord. And we just pray that you just be with us as we learn from others and grow our families and our businesses and our homes, Lord Jesus, that you'd bless us and bless the audience financially and just pour out your favor on this land, Lord. But I just pray that we would raise kids and we would find our purpose, our passions and our destiny, Jesus. And I just thank you that you have put that in all of us. Thank you so much for the way that you created us, Lord. We just pray that you protect us from all harm, hurt, and evil, Lord. Dear Jesus, help us to tap into unlimited joy in you. In Jesus' name. And all God's people said,
All God's people saying amen. Hey, we'll see you next Tuesday, 11 o'clock Central, approximately. And we're going to go figure out what our stuff broke and we'll fix it. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.